We should never be surprised when Dallas Cowboys training camp gets a little crazy. The drama never seems to end, and the first few days of this camp have provided us with plenty of it. I'm Mike Doocy in Oxnard. Welcome to Sports Sunday. In a moment, I will do my best to try to explain to you why Cowboys owner Jerry Jones will not be joining us as we had hoped he would tonight. We'll have that for you coming up here in just a moment. Plus, a Sports Sunday training camp tradition unlike any other. The morning musers from the ticket join me. Will the Cowboys make the playoffs? Does Gordon even know that the playoffs exist? Some fun with Dunham and Miller and the great Gordo in just a few minutes. First, some fireworks at the Cowboys afternoon practice today. Some celebrities on hand. Jerry with Randy Gregory there. Chandler Parsons, the NBA star, on hand. Dak's 25th birthday today. He was serenaded by the fans a couple of times. Cole Beasley has been impressive early in this camp. Fifth-year receiver looking good. A little bit of a scuffle for the first time in training camp as Taco Charlton and Lyle Collins go back and forth at one another. Kind of a typical camp, not even really a fight, more of a disagreement, really.
Yeah, everything cool. We brothers, everything like that. We just come out here, we compete, you know, things happen, you know, everything like that. We line back up, we line it up again, and we went back to work. It is what it is.
And all's forgiven now, right?
Oh, yeah, we're going to go in here, we're going to chop it up, laugh about it, have fun. Like I said, we brothers out here. We come out here, we compete, and, you know, things happen. But once we leave this field, we back at it, we all good again.
Just two guys competing, you know, just two guys trying to bring the best out of one another. We're trying to make this team as great as we can. And, you know, whatever it takes to bring that out of each other, that's what we're going to do. And ultimately, when you got scuffles like that, you know, it's going to exert a lot of energy. So, you know, when I got back to the line, I was damn sure tired. But, you know, we just get back to the line and do it again.
Again, kind of a crazy week to open training camp. We're used to that at Dallas Cowboys training camps through the years, whether it's back in the Austin days through Wichita Falls, San Antonio, and now here in Oxnard. Jerry Jones set the tone on Wednesday during the opening news conference, doubling down on his national anthem stance, saying his players will stand, no exceptions.
Our policy is that you stand at the anthem, toe on the line.
I don't see Jeffrey as a bully like Jerry Jones is. Lucky for me, I don't play for the Cowboys, nor would I want to. I think it's unfortunate that you have owners like him that use his position to intimidate and intentionally thwart even the idea of his players thinking individually or having a voice.
Philadelphia Eagle Malcolm Jenkins with a response to Jerry on Thursday. Then President Trump on Friday adding fuel to the fire, tweeted his support for Jerry's comments. Mr. Trump adding that the entire league should follow suit. No Cowboys player has contradicted Jerry's position on this issue. Apparently they have no choice. Jerry putting his players in a tough position here. On Friday, quarterback Dak Prescott answered questions about the anthem issue this way.
No, I never protest. I never protest during the anthem, and I don't think that's the time or the venue to do so. The game of football has always brought me such a peace, and I think it does the same for a lot of people. So when you bring such a controversy to the stadium, it takes away from that. For me, it's just about continue to inspire and motivate, and hopefully people can hear what I say and believe in that. And I'm up for anything. I'm up to get involved in any way that we can with fixing the social injustice and the police brutality and all the things that are going on in our country. I'm all for making a difference, and you can count me in if we can find something worth the action to do so that will help fix it.
I thought Dak Prescott did a great job with the media the other day as he addressed this issue. Again, put in a tough position. All right, I'm going to try to explain this to you right now. This was the portion of the show where Jerry Jones was scheduled to join us. We had an interview set up for 9:30 tonight. This is my 25th Dallas Cowboys training camp that I've covered, and we've had Jerry as our guest each opening Sunday of camp through the years, and I've always looked forward to that. I've always appreciated him being gracious enough to join us and be willing to ask any question that comes along. As it turns out tonight, at the last second before we were getting ready to record our interview, we were told by Jerry and by his public relations staff that the national anthem issue would be off limits. And the fact that we were told that at the last minute, that conditions were put on the interview in that way, I just didn't feel comfortable going on with it. I don't want to make a bigger deal out of this than it is. Again, I appreciate Jerry's time throughout the years. He's always been incredibly accessible. And in turn, I've always tried to be fair. I've been fair to the point where I've been criticized for being too fair. I've been fair to the point where I've been criticized for not being tough enough on him at times. Certainly there were a lot of things to talk about with Jerry tonight, not just the national anthem. We would have gotten into many issues having to do with his football team, clearly. And in some ways, I'm violating my own policy here. I've always felt that it's better, even if there are conditions put on an interview, to talk to the newsmaker and get some information out of them that would be of value to our viewers and our audience. So if I've let you down in this regard, I do apologize. I just couldn't accept the way it happened in this particular case tonight. Hopefully we'll have a chance to talk to Jerry in the future. Not sure how that will go at this point, but there won't be an interview tonight, apparently. All right, still some things to talk about from this camp, though, and Edward Egros, you've been watching from afar. What have your opinions been on some of the things that have happened, and what would you like to discuss here as we fill the remaining 4 minutes that would have gone to Jerry Jones? Ed?
Well, Deuce, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as kind of how they, handled this interview and things like that. And it's interesting to me that this was supposed to be the football season where we were going to move on and discuss football matters, and that this was going to be back to football, as it were. We weren't going to discuss so many different political things that were enshrouding this football team. Instead, we were going to talk about their playoff chances and what was going to happen with Dak Prescott, how Zeke Elliott, now that that suspension is not looming over this team, what this franchise is capable of if they can make the playoffs with such a young team. Instead, we're talking about the national anthem. We're talking about the controversy involving Papa John's, and you know about that controversy by now, where the founder used the N-word during a conference call, and Jerry Jones says that he's sticking with the pizza chain because of loyalty. Now, yes, they own a lot of franchises, and that's part of why Jerry Jones isn't distancing himself from the pizza chain like the Rangers have and FC Dallas has. But this is just another example of how we are not talking about football at a time when I think a lot of NFL fans want to be talking about football. They don't want to keep talking about politics. And so once again, we've got these controversies looming over an offseason that could have a lot of potential. And I think this would have been an opportunity for Jerry Jones with you to sort of try and move on from it in whatever capacity you can. Instead, by not agreeing to the interview, it's become so much more difficult for us not to move on from it. And so I look at this situation and go, here we go again. The NFL fans, at least those that I've spoken to, the many I've spoken to over the last several months, say we're tired of talking about politics. They want to talk about football. And by Jerry Jones not handling this, we are where we are like we were last year.
Again, I'm not positive I did the right thing tonight, but and in fairness to Jerry, his stance now is that the NFL doesn't want him to talk about the anthem either. It just would have been nice to know that, prior to 1 minute before the interview was set to record. But again, I've always enjoyed having the chance to talk to Jerry Jones, especially here in this camp setting, and I've always appreciated him being willing to talk to us about just about anything, and I'm sorry that it turned out the way it did here tonight. On a lighter note, the musers from the ticket are coming up. Roll the tease, please. All right, we are back in Oxnard at Cowboys training camp. It has become a training camp tradition unlike any others. I'm happy to be able to hop on a few times each year with the Musers, the highly rated morning radio show on Sports Radio 1310 and 96.7 FM, The Ticket. And tonight, these guys return the favor here on Sports Sunday. And we're so thrilled to have the Musers from the Ticket with us. It's a Sunday night tradition from training camp, the first Sunday. George Dunham, Craig Miller, and Gordon Keith all with us here from camp. And we've got a lot of topics to get into here tonight, guys, and not all that much time, although it may seem like a lot of time once we get into the segment. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about Jerry and some of the things he's had to address, this anthem thing. Do you think he's mishandling this whole situation with the anthem and insisting that his players stand?
Maybe in that he just keeps addressing it. I think they had an edict for the owners to just stop talking about it, but Jerry can't help himself. He's got his own set of rules, so I think he is saying the thing that he thinks Cowboy fans want to hear, and I don't know what he's doing, but I think he's saying what he thinks Cowboy fans want to hear, and as long as he says, hey, toe on the line and sing the anthem, I think they'll think it's great.
Craig, it seems to me that of the Musers, you love America the most. So do you agree with Jerry in this case?
You know, before we get into that, I think I speak for all of us when I say that we're really disappointed because we agreed to do this interview because we thought Clarice was going to interview us, and it's you. And so I don't.
Yeah.
Do we stay for the rest of it?
We don't have to stay. I mean,
we were told it was a Dallas-Fort Worth legend, but.
Clarice hasn't worked on a Sunday night in about 35 years.
Whoa.
But then nor should she have to. Nor should she have to. Let me ask. She should never be expected to. Do you want to say anything more about the anthem or not really?
What was the question? I don't.
Is Jerry mishandling it? Is he botching
Yeah,
this
I think
thing?
he is.
Yeah. Gordon, okay. That's concise. I think he's putting his players in an unfairly awkward position. Gordon?
Yeah.
You also feel that way. All right. Let's go to my next question. Des Bryant went nuts on Twitter on Friday, going off on his old teammates, especially Sean Lee. Whose side are you on in that one, Dez's or Sean's?
You know, I thought the Twitter rampage, rant, whatever, showed how immature Dez is, and I think that, to me, it solidifies them moving on from Dez. Like, I don't think they need that kind of guy, that kind of distraction. I'm siding with the Cowboys that are here. I'm sure that at some point they butt heads with each other, these players, all of them, but for Dez to twist off like this, I don't think he's so upset at the Cowboys as he is upset that no team has shown any interest.
What does twist off mean, Gordon?
Oh, well.
He has a different definition.
Judging on the picture you sent me last night, it means something a little bit different late at night to you.
Which side do you come down on, Dez or Sean?
Yeah, I think Dez is ridiculous. I do feel for him, though. I think he is frustrated that he's not in a camp right now. But, yeah, what he did Friday was just outrageous. And it's funny, though, he says that, and look at the headlines that it makes. It's still a nationwide story, and it was a huge story not only Friday but over the weekend.
Since we're 4 days into camp, I'm going to ask you guys, do you think this will be a playoff team? Craig Miller.
Oddly, yes. I think they will be. I think they're a 9 or 10 win team, and because we get such turnover in the NFL every year, I think they're one of the teams that is in, and some surprising team or two will be out.
Gordon, are you aware of the fact that there are playoffs at the end of the NFL season?
Okay, I consider that a shot at me, and yes, I do think that they will go 9-7.
Oh, wow. And who knows if that'll be.
It will be in the playoffs.
No, they missed the playoffs. 8 or 9 wins, and I don't think that'll be enough. I think they're going to be a pretty entertaining team, but I don't think they're going to have enough wins to get in.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please do.
Is it a flat-out toupee or a weave? It looks fantastic.
It doesn't really look that good anymore. I don't even think I can sell the. I'm kind of disappointed in how it's performed. Much like my actual on-air performance, my hair is not done really well at this.
Oh, don't say that about
camp.
yourself.
Yeah, don't say that.
Nobody says that about you, as far as you know.
George Rowdy's here. Your thoughts?
They got to get a new mascot. I can't believe he's still here. They have not gone to the Super Bowl since Rowdy has been their mascot, and that is not a coincidence.
Craig, you rode your bike to Santa Barbara. How far is that?
It was a long way. It took me most of the
I know
day.
it's a long way, but approximately how many miles?
It was a 100-mile round trip.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at me. I rode a bike 100 miles round trip.
Bring it up, you did.
Hey, talk about your pay cut more. That was funny when you were saying that stuff.
Speaking of me, if we could bring it back to Mike.
Can I be
How much time do we have left? Oh, God, 1 minute. That's it. 1 minute to go. Our new show, Free for All, debuts September 4th, 10:30 to 11 on Fox 4. My managers say it's a show being built around my personality. Gordon, how long are you giving that?
Might as well call it test pattern.
Test pattern, color bars, and then snow.
Good luck with that. Yeah, if you
don't
need
mean
us, I actually do.
How about every night? You mind coming in every night to do the show?
Yes, we do.
That's fine. Yeah,
No, you're really funny. I think this will actually be very good for you. If you cut loose, that's the thing with you, is there's always the internal battle between the funny Mike Doocy and then whatever this bland stuff is you throw out on the air all the time.
George, will you come on once in a while?
Yes, I will support you, Mike. Good luck. Good luck.
I think this could be the springboard to a really nice career for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I finally figured this thing out. It's Craig, right? Craig Miller, Gordon Keith, George Dunham, the Musers. They'll be up at about 2 a.m. Pacific, on the air 5:30 to 10 on The Ticket. Thanks, boys.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Always appreciate those guys joining us. Still head from Oxnard after a week filled with controversy and name-calling. We will close our coverage here tonight with a story of kindness, just an amazing gesture for one young Cowboys fan. That's coming up in a few minutes from Cowboys training camp. It's some other news of the day now. We send it back to Dallas. Here's Edward Egros. Ed? There's been a special visitor at this camp, and chances are nobody has enjoyed his time here more than 10-year-old Caden Sprague. He's enjoyed it, that's for sure. 5 years ago, he lost his father, a Texarkana, Texas police officer killed in the line of duty. Caden lives now with his mom and stepdad in Arkansas. A huge Cowboy fan, he wanted to visit AT&T Stadium for his birthday, but some friends and some special sponsors stepped up and did him one better. They arranged for Caden to attempt training camp here in Oxnard.
Awesome. I mean, just to be here in California is amazing. To see the Dallas Cowboys is the best. I mean, I've never been to a game before. It's my first time actually seeing him in person other than TV.
When we told him, he cried. And if you know Caden, he does not cry. He's not a very emotional child. And he is dramatic, but not emotional. And he just started crying in happiness.
Great kid, and really neat to meet that family. Caden was out here for the last 3 days just enjoying every moment of it. We thank you for watching Sports Sunday. Kind of an unusual Sunday tonight. Again, for the first time in my 25 training camps, we didn't interview Jerry Jones tonight on the show. As I mentioned earlier, we're not trying to politicize anything. It's just that some last-second conditions were put on the interview that I couldn't agree to, and we chose to go in that direction. And we thank you for understanding. For those of you who are disappointed, perhaps I can understand that too. This will be my last night at training camp, but that was planned before anyway. I'm Mike Doocy. Thanks for watching. Good night.